So the issue of park fees, of fees for use of the parks in the city is not a new one, and it's come up several times in the past. And several years ago, I forget if it was a formalized action or not, but I think it was an order that said that Rockland shouldn't waive any fees. And then since then, we've waived some. So despite the fact that there was some desire to have a fairly black and white policy, it became fairly clear that not everything, in fact, is black and white. And for the last few years, the council has sort of struggled with fee waivers for the harbor parks, and the Lobster Festival, through no fault of its own, just because it's the biggest and uses the park more intensively, comes under closer scrutiny perhaps than other entities that use the park as far as the fee waiver is concerned. Plus it adds up to a decent chunk of change. But despite all that, I think that the practice that the previous councils have established in waiving the fees is in recognition of all that the Lobster Festival does for the community. And not to reiterate points that were made from the podium, but the festival is a huge economic generator for this area. And I see the waiving of the park fees as being an investment in that economic engine. And I would hope that my fellow councilors would be sensitive to the fact and appreciate that even though we're asking to give up this money that could be raised by charging the fee, that we are investing really in what's the Rockland Festival Corporation. I mean, it's not somebody else's festival, it's our festival. To do what it does and bring the people to the area that it does and generate the types of spending that it does. Rockland has definitely changed in my lifetime, and I never thought that Rockland would be a tourist destination, and it is. And part of the reason that it is because the Lobster Festival is just a huge attraction for people to come to the area. Granted, other things have taken place along the harbor to propel us to be sort of a tourist destination, but I have, just to kind of go to a point that was made from the podium earlier about, have you heard of the Lobster Festival, have you heard of Rockland? So I've got one of these fleece pullovers that has the festival logo on it that I like to wear when I travel to conferences and so forth out of state. And I'm always impressed. There's always somebody who recognizes that Lobster Festival logo and says, oh, you're from Rockland, I've been there, I've been to the festival. So I think we can't really underestimate what the festival contributes economically. And then, of course, there are the benefactions that it makes to the community as well. So while I recognize this is a sensitive subject in that there are those who feel very strongly that the fee should be charged, I am proposing that we continue the practice of waiving the fees to allow the festival to do its good work. And I guess the other thing that I would just plant a little bug in my fellow councilors' ears, a couple of years ago when we contemplated charging the festival for the direct costs that the city incurs during the festival, I think there was quite a bit of consensus that that seemed fair and reasonable, but we also delayed implementing it because it was literally just a few months, about this time of year, before the festival went on. You know, they go through a budget process of their own as well, and they sort of have already anticipated as much as they can what their expenses and revenues would be. And recognizing that, we worked with the festival so that the following year fees could be implemented without sort of blindsiding them at the last minute. If we decide as a council that we feel it's important that they pay the fee, then I think we should at least give them more than 3 months' notice before we do it.